Welcome to episode number 309 of the K-Pop Podcast.
Where everything you erase just goes to another dimension where they cry, "Why did you erase me?"
Everything you erase goes to a different dimension.
Yes.
Where they cry, "Why did you erase me?"
Yes.
Okay.
That
Good.
is, so just think about when you're deleting stuff or erasing, if you draw something, that whole critter or whatever you drew.
Ooh, a critter.
Yeah, it's going to a different land.
Wow.
It has to exist. If science has taught me anything.
And it hasn't.
It hasn't taught me much. But the one thing I did hear from science.com is matter always exists. So if you erase something, it still has to be there.
You know, maybe science did teach you something.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the K-Pop Podcast, where I'm Brett and Tim is Tim.
That's me.
And I know. I know you've missed us.
I know. We've seen it in the comments, in our DMs.
Yeah.
We've it's been overwhelmingly silent.
The response. Yeah, he's not lying. So it's been a while since we've recorded a podcast, and dude, I'm sure you guys know because it's happening to everybody. Everybody's getting sick.
Everyone's getting sick,
and I am not exempt from that.
No,
and we did take a week off to record some YouTube content, and the following week we were supposed to record. Your boy got sick.
Yeah.
And then
it's not me. I know I'm your boy. He's your boy number 2.
Right.
So your boy number 2 got sick.
I feel like.
Just wanted to clarify.
All right. I don't know about the number 2 thing, but one of us got sick. I won't say which one, but it's your boy, and I
your boy number 2.
I couldn't come record, so we didn't record. So it's been, I don't know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's been a minute.
I don't think it's been 3. Has it been 3 weeks?
Maybe this would be the 3rd.
This right. If we didn't do what we're doing right now,
I don't remember.
Yes. So yeah, we took a week off to film some content and stuff, and then took a week off because Brett was sick, and now we're back again.
Back again.
I
missed it, man.
Yeah, that was, we were kind of in a trial period with the podcast. Like, as you saw, some of our recent podcasts have been one subject, not even relating to what we do here on the podcast. Usually the sandwich, and what else did we do? I think just talking about.
We had an episode where we just talked. Yeah, we just talked about, I don't remember.
Just madness.
It was good. That felt good.
That was the thing. Those were fun to do, but so I mean the podcast is still like always something we really love. But we've been seeing a lot of success on YouTube, which is great. We appreciate anybody who checks us out on YouTube. And that just resulted in us taking some time to focus on that.
I didn't think about that. There's a chance you're here watching the podcast because you've caught some of our reaction videos, and if that's the case, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, welcome. We this is episode 309, so we have done this for a long, long time.
We've done it for a minute,
but we love it. It's just a weekly get together where we chat.
It's going to be fantastic. And if you're one of our faithful listeners. We're sorry it's been so long, but I'm glad to be back. It feels. YouTube's a little scary sometimes, dude.
Yeah,
you don't know who's gonna be mean.
Yeah, but anybody who's mean is just immediately trash.
Wow, dude.
They're just garbage people who have no
now
friends.
You're just encouraging the cycle of violence.
That's fine. You know what we can do, Brett?
Of bullying.
Delete.
We can. I was talking to Rach about that, and she was like, you can delete comments, right?
That's generally what I do. If a negative comment pops up, and I'm like, because it's either I feel bad about it, which I shouldn't because they're trash. I respond, and then everybody looks at me get aggressive towards this random nobody because they're trash, or I delete it and then never think about it again.
But maybe they need some compassion and empathy. Maybe they're going through some stuff.
I know. We've talked about it before where we should kill them with kindness. And
maybe. I'm not saying should. I'm just saying it's an option.
Right. I mean, because maybe we're the people that make them learn. Maybe you shouldn't be a jerk on the internet.
Maybe I'm the trash.
Maybe have I been the trash all along?
I've been the trash all along.
But yeah, we've been having a great time on YouTube.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
We have been doing a lot of reaction content, and it's been a blast learning about a bunch of different bands and songs, and it's been good.
It's super cool. If if you guys are listening, I know some of you primarily listen, and you haven't seen the reactions, it's really fun. It's kind of like little spurts of what you get on the podcast. And I feel like for the first few, we were finding our rhythm, but I feel like we've gotten it now, and it's feeling like I said, just kind of like a piece of the podcast on a micro level, because we're just watching one thing, responding to that. And if you guys have any recommendations, you've always steered us right on the podcast. So if you have anything, it could be music, it could be like trailers for new stuff coming out, whatever.
Yep.
But it's cool because it generates just short little bursts of conversations that we might have here. The Fantastic Four one was a cool one because we haven't recapped like MCU stuff for a while. I feel like for a long time early on, I feel like it's all we talked about.
Dude, it's so funny going back
but that was like the golden age.
Yeah, it was. It was.
What were we supposed to talk about?
Nothing.
Why are you guys freaking out?
Oh,
nobody even said anything bad. You know, I'm just making it up.
Right, we're just having a good time.
So I don't know, dude, what's up?
I have been going strong in my 30 for 30 challenge.
Tim's done his 30 for 30 challenge.
Yep.
He's done with it. He lost 47 pounds. He got a car.
Yeah, I have 7 girlfriends.
He's married now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, he's a Mormon and has now married multiple women.
I had to try something new. And,
he did.
You know, being a Mormon is something I've never tried. So.
That's fair, dude.
Yeah,
I haven't tried it either.
It's been crazy 2 weeks. So.
I knew one. Oh, no, I didn't.
I don't think
I did.
Yeah?
Yeah. She's such a sweetheart.
Is she married to a bunch of people?
No,
she would be married to one.
Wait. Oh, I never thought about that. Yeah.
Right?
If you're...
Because I think it's...
Yeah.
I know, and also,
no, you're right.
That's not the only thing to Mormonism. Is that the appropriate term for
That's
it?
the only thing, yeah.
That's the only
There's
thing?
nothing else. Mormonism and polygamy are interchangeable terms.
They're the same.
They mean the same thing.
Let's get another community mad at us.
Who's mad at us?
The blind people.
Well, that's because I don't know. You did something questionable in the reaction.
I have nothing against blind people. I just can't see.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I do want to point out a blind person has never said anything, but they also can't because they're blind. So
that's so crazy. It's such a weird fake thing to have with a community.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. It's so weird.
And if you're nervous, this is going to be another hour of us building a sandwich. Don't worry, we have things to talk about. I thought that episode might be one of my favorites.
It was fun.
Where we still had to construct the sandwich.
Yeah, that's going to be great. I don't even know. Did I do the intro thing? We talk about all the things we consume, be it media or food.
Yeah, sure.
Well, if I didn't, there it is again.
There it is.
We do have some fun stuff to get to today, and it's. The reactions have been super fun, but I am excited to get back to this format.
Yeah, because we have been building up because I feel like when we were doing those other couple weeks ago podcasts, we didn't have a lot to talk about when we came because I was focusing on 30 for 30 stuff, which didn't necessarily relate to media and all the other type of things. Yeah. There were elements to it, but now I'm really chugging along. I have 30 things to talk about.
Really?
Well, maybe not 30, but 12.
You just can't stop with the 30s.
Dude, I'm 30 and I can do whatever I want.
You're 30 and you can do whatever you want. Dude, when my birthday comes, do I get to do whatever I want?
What are you going to be? 30?
38.
38?
I'm 38 and I can do whatever I want.
38.
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't work as well.
You got to be at a 0.
A 0?
Yeah, 40.
Oh.
Yeah.
And even a 10.
Yeah.
A multiple of
10. Or a 0. You can start. You can say I'm 1 and whatever I want.
Well,
all the way up
until
10. It's 0, 1.
Oh.
Yeah. Your age is 0, 1.
That's man.
That? I wish I was a smart kid because I would. If someone was like, "What's your age?" I'll be like 0, 5.
You would be more of a nerd than you were. People would be like, "That kid thinks he's a robot." That's Tim 05. It's me, Tim 05.
It's funny though because I wasn't that kind of nerd.
No,
I was not a smart nerd.
Yeah.
I was a gamer nerd, but
I feel like either one of those people could think they're a robot.
Yeah.
Refer to me only as Tim 05.
Hello, I am Tim 05.
Sing to me happy birthday. I have turned 06 years old.
Oh,
what a goofball.
What a goof.
What if we went to school together? Isn't it weird that we didn't?
I guess that is.
We're far away. We never would have been in school together, actually.
No.
No.
Yeah, we're too far away.
It's not weird.
Unless we were in one of those schools that had all grades.
I thought you were going to say all girls, and I was like, I don't see how that would have solved our problem.
No, that would have,
because
we probably would have been in the same class as the only 2 boys in the all-girls school.
Sir, he's 8 years older than him. Yeah, but it's the only two guys. Just put him in a class.
So one day you'll teach like 12th grade trigonometry. The other day you'll teach ABCs.
Yeah, we'll teach you to not think you're a robot. It's just me singing happy birthday to the little robot boy.
What a schooling. That is weird though. Man, that would have been cool if we were in school together.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Would have been cool.
Bailey and I were in school together, but
Was that cool?
we didn't see each other a lot.
Oh, it's not cool.
There were cool moments, but
Were
she
there?
had her group and I had my group.
Yeah.
My group was cooler. She had a bunch of freaks.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
Mine was a mix.
Yeah, I bet you probably wouldn't want to be near me.
What? Why?
Because you
We've
were
always
like,
been into the same stuff.
no, I know, but
Well,
like,
except like music, I guess.
right, but
football.
that was like your goth age.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna hang out with your little brother who's like
Goth.
Sonic the Hedgehog and Naruto.
Why? Goth kids have siblings?
But if I walked up to you in the hallway and be like, Brett, I guess.
Dude, I wore a lot of black. I wasn't a bully. I didn't just beat up little kids.
You wouldn't beat me up, but you would ignore my existence.
No, I didn't ignore
You'd be like,
people.
get out of here, punk.
People ignored me
That's true.
or made fun of me. I wasn't the grumpy goth. I had another friend who like we would both talk about how like dark and dreary we were. But then I would get to school, I'd be like, hey guys. But he would be like, I remember one summer he was like, bro, this year when we go back to school, day one, I'm literally gonna put my headphones on and just look at the ground.
You guys planned
This
that?
is what he said to me, and I remember just being like, yeah, for sure. And he was like, I'm gonna be like, dude, just looking down at the ground and walking around, headphones on, nobody will want to bother me.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine he was listening to Sonic music. And that would have made him more, happy, which is the opposite of what he wanted.
I think it was Corn. I think he was listening to a lot of Corn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shame Shadow the Hedgehog wasn't out yet.
Right. He's much more goth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have ignored you.
You would have totally ignored me.
Maybe.
Yeah. I show up in my SpongeBob onesie in 6th grade.
And I wear my Slipknot jumpsuit. We're both wearing coveralls of some sort.
I wish. I don't recall ever having a onesie.
Well, we can get some now.
Yeah, there's nothing stopping us.
We're grown men.
I've always
and
wanted
we
one of
love-
those like onesies underwear, like the long. Is it called long underwear?
Long
the ones that
johns?
has the buttons in the back where you can open up and it's the butt flap. I always wanted one of those that you see in like cartoons where it's like red.
Yeah, I think those are like Long Johns.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
Long John Silvers.
because I'd have the butt flap open all the time. Anyway, speaking of butt flaps, can we go into TV?
Sure. Television. Where is this taking us?
Butt flaps. Which show can I relate butt flaps to?
Can't wait to find out.
I can't. I don't think there's really. Brett, have you watched anything?
I have.
I'm gonna pull up my list.
Yeah, I've been. So I have a show. First of all, have you watched Glow at all?
Is that the roller derby one?
Wrestling.
Oh, wrestling.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I know. Are you still on your wrestling kick?
Yeah, it just
It just turned into shows now.
It just turned into like it's just a part of
you.
it's just a part of me. I will say it's calmed down. I haven't had as much time to watch wrestling. Watching a full wrestling event is a major commitment.
It's got to be like the Super Bowl or something, like where it's like 5. Well, how long are they usually?
2 to 3 hours.
Okay.
They're lengthy. So I will look up events. I definitely watch a lot of YouTube content about wrestling. But Glow is a show on Netflix. There are 3 seasons. I'm about 2.5 seasons through. Rachel watched the whole thing, and she has zero interest in wrestling. But this show is about a women's wrestling show getting made in the 80s. And
True story or no?
I don't know.
Okay.
Someone told me they thought it was based on a true story. I did not. I was not under that impression, but maybe I could be wrong. It's incredible. It's It's dramatic. It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
The episodes are like 30 to 35 minutes. The kind of show you like rip through without even realizing how far along you are. And you do not have to have even any interest in wrestling.
That's cool.
But it just covers a lot of really, there are a lot of really intricate relational things going on throughout the show, throughout the cast of the show in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Maron is... he's a comedian who I've not seen in anything before, but he's so funny. He just has this like very dry, deadpan delivery, and he's the director who's trying to get this show together. And it's just all the struggles of getting the show made, and then, like I said, sort of the complications of the relationships between the actors and Allison Brie, and I'm not going to remember her name because I just looked it up the other day for the first time. I think it's Betty something.
Betty White?
No, it's not Betty White because they get in a fight.
She could
about.
Well,
I
depends
get
when the
yeah.
show was made, but she could have fought.
Get me the name. She's a big part of the show.
So Allison Brie.
Yep.
And Betty Gilpin.
Really? She doesn't strike me as a Betty.
What's her name in the show? Do you remember?
Debbie.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, I guess that's not that far off. But anyways, the show's incredible. I was hesitating to talk about it because I'm curious. I would like to talk about it with you.
Mm-hmm. I didn't have any intention to watch it.
Dude, it's a great show.
It's a great show.
It's a great show. And you won't watch it, but it's incredible.
Maybe I will. I don't know. It's not high priority for me.
Yeah, it really should be. If you're looking for a good drama that also has some comedy, it's just a well-rounded, really, really immersive show because you get really invested in all these characters, and it's one of those. It ends up feeling like this ensemble cast because you care so much about all the. You have your main players that you're seeing in every episode, but then there's the whole cast of the wrestling show that you learn to love more and more and get little details about throughout the show, and then suddenly you're like, oh, I do kind of want to see more of her. I want to see more of this guy. And
do they wrestle in the show? Like,
they do.
I was going to say, is there action?
And it's one of those things where, like I said, you don't have to have any investment in wrestling at all. But if you do, you do kind of get the benefits because when they're training, you have a whole cast of women who've never wrestled before. So they're learning. Well, not all of them have never wrestled before. But as they're learning moves and things like that, if you know anything about wrestling, you're like, it's legit. Like they are really training and talking about things that you legitimately have to worry about when you're in the ring. And it's just very cool to watch that aspect of it. But it has that documentary element about it where even if it's something you're not into, just the learning about it, you don't have to know. You might be like, I don't know if this is how it really works or not, but this is interesting in the context of the show. You know what I mean? So it's called Glow. Can't recommend it enough. It's fantastic.
Netflix.
Gosh, it's so good.
Keeper or sleeper?
Oh, Keeper. I forgot we do that. Dude, hard Keeper. Because the other thing, too, is like Rach and I just finished 2 episodes that the drama elevated or escalated, however you want to go north.
Yep.
And just like it peaked harder than it has so far in the show. And I'm like halfway through season 2.
Nothing's more satisfying than having that like drama-filled episode that like either things get answered or there's a huge problem and it stresses you out. Like when you feel with the show, that's when you know it's good.
Dude, and then it's one of those things, like 2 episodes in a row where something crazy happens and then the credits just play. And you're like...
It's funny shows are framed that way where like an episode cuts off with such a like huge moment because they know either you're binging it or the next episode's like right available.
Yeah.
As opposed to like how other shows, I guess, would do cliffhangers.
I know.
I don't know. It's just funny like watching it. I'm like, I wonder why they decided to cut off here if knowing it goes on Netflix and all the episodes are out. Like, I wonder if that thought goes into how they frame episodes.
Well, you still want to keep people watching, right? I mean, there's still that aspect because I have been like, all right, one more episode.
Yep.
And then who knows how long until I go back and watch it, you know?
Right.
But then it ends like that, and I'm like, maybe I'll just watch the first 10 minutes of the next
just
episode.
the next one.
And then you just crank through it.
Dude, I'll never do first 10 minutes of the next episode. I'll watch the whole thing if I'm jumping in.
That's the thing. I have told myself that I'm going to do it just to get like, okay,
Satisfied.
where are they going to
Yep.
like pick it up from how they ended? And
But if they're smart, then they'll make whatever that revelation is happen at the end of the next episode.
Oh,
like,
of course.
ugh.
I don't know why I fool myself. In a way.
into thinking that. But Glow, it hasn't really been on my list. I've heard of it. I didn't really hear much about it, so I'm glad it's good.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that like I would recommend to literally anyone. And if you are a wrestling fan and enjoy a good drama comedy, dramedy,
Dramatist?
highly recommend. It's very, very good.
Dude,
What?
Glow's good.
You don't know that.
Well,
Don't just say what I'm saying. You don't know it.
I'm just going with you because I'm trying to transition into the next thing that is also good. Tales of the TMNT.
Oh.
I watched it. I finished it.
All of it?
All of it.
Before I did.
Before Brett, I think it's the first time in life that I've ever finished a Ninja Turtles thing before Brett.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay, so go on. Tell me about it.
So, I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast before, but I watched the first episode.
Yeah.
And I was left kind of like meh
That's
about
how
it.
I felt too.
Because I think the first episode is not a great representation of Leonardo. I think so. The idea of the show is it's basically like a side story of the Turtles after the movie.
Yep.
So it's the tales because, and it's framed kind of weird because it's like Leonardo's writing a comic, but it's also like a real thing that happened. But they frame it in a way where it feels like it's Leo's imagination, but it is all like real to the story.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
So it was just a little confusing. I didn't really get it until I finished that arc, and it was like, oh, this like actually happened. It wasn't just a comic that Leo was doing. But anyway, so it's split up in a way where there is like this big crazy event that happens, and the turtles all get split up, and so they're each trying to get to this center point where the story will conclude the climax. So you're following each turtle each episode. I said each a lot. You're following a turtle each episode, and you're getting how they got to this climactic moment.
Okay.
So it's like a little bit of flashbacks because you got to see how they all got separated.
Of course.
And then where it ends up. So the first half of the season is like that. And that story was fun. It was basically they're each being chased by this like Terminator robot.
Cool.
And they all had to do like this little self-discovery journey of like being a little different than what they're typecasted as, if you will.
Sure.
So like Raphael is very angry. He has to learn to be a little calm to solve the situation. Stuff like that.
I like that.
So it's really fun. Animated super well.
Yeah.
I loved the action. I loved the voice direction. It's all the same kids from the movie. They all came back. Their voices are a little more mature.
Yeah.
Because obviously as they're growing up, they're going to have deeper
They've
voices.
aged.
Yeah.
This is science, guys. You can look it up.
Yeah. Science.
Ask your health teacher.
I've learned science.
Yep.
So yeah, strong first half of the season, and then part 2 of the season, which apparently was all together. Same thing, same kind of situation where all the turtles get separated into a new story, and they each have their own individual episodes. Which by the time the second half rolls around, I'm like, oh, they're doing this again,
Right.
So the most of the series, the turtles are not even together.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I liked it because you got they focused on that turtle for the whole episode.
Yeah.
So instead of like them sharing the limelight and having like, I don't know, individual spotlight episodes, every episode's one of those. Which is fine. And then you get more of the mutanimals in the second half. You get more situations where they're like interacting with their family. And so yeah, it's all good. I just didn't know they were going to be separated the entire series.
Sure, yeah, that's a choice.
But yeah, the second half is about these like fish. I forgot what they were called, but it's like a group of fish that get mutated, and they need to go steal this pearl so they can get accepted back into their underwater land.
Fantastic.
And it's just all good fun. It has the same feeling of the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe pulled back a little bit because it's more like for TV.
Yeah.
As opposed to the movie where I felt like they kind of like went a little bit more with the gross out factor and maybe some like heavier story elements.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun all the way through. One complaint you had was that Splinter, at least in the first episode, didn't speak.
Yes.
His whole speaking role was just mouse squeaking noises, and there's a story reason for that. But as a viewer, you're like, man, it sucks. I can't hear like Jackie Chan or any voice.
Right.
So that continues on to the second half of the season, but instead of it being the squeaky voice, Raph takes over and does a voiceover for him because April's like making this like school project, and so she has to record everyone telling the story of what happened, but Splinter is telling the story. So it's Raph telling us the story through Splinter.
How does that play? Does that feel better?
It feels better, but again, like knowing that I don't know why they didn't get like just a Jackie Chan impersonator or just a different voice entirely.
I do wonder sometimes which I like better because we know like it's like I'm not surprised you didn't get Jackie Chan to do Splinter for this, but
especially because he's pretty significant in the second half. Of the series, yeah.
Interesting.
He has a lot of speaking roles.
So it seems like, I don't know, it's hard to overlook the obvious factor of them not having him. You know what I mean? I think that's part of it. It gets in your head when you're watching it and you're like, sure wish this was Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
you know?
or anybody. Because if it was Jackie Chan, given how much he had to say, maybe it would be a harder thing to do anyways. Because Jackie Chan can speak English pretty well. I mean, sometimes it's a little broken, but so I don't know how it would come across. But when Raph does it, it's fine. They even call it like a Batman voice. He does like a little deeper voice. And, so I mean, yeah, it's funny. It does. I will say, probably had one of the coolest Ninja Turtles action sequences. That was a full word I just said there.
That was a full
That was a full words. But yeah, one of the coolest action sequences I've seen, I guess, since the movie.
Really?
Yeah, it was, I think it's near the end of the second part, and it is like crazy how well animated it is. I watched it twice because it was so well done. I was like, whoa! Because I can't imagine drawing it must have been a nightmare because of how like everything flows and moves and stuff. But yeah, the action's killer. Again, the animation, I actually like it a little bit better than the movie.
Yeah?
Because it's still like...
It is a little bit different.
It is different, and I like it because the movie, which is Mutant Mayhem, is what I'm referring to. It has a very like gross style. Like the humans look really nasty, and everything's just kind of gross. The way it's animated in the Tales of the TMNT is a little more what you would expect. Like the humans look a little bit better. I do like that it's 2D. I do like the traditional style. So I don't know. It just lent itself better to being in that style. But yeah, I also thought it would focus on them being in school.
Yeah.
There's none of that.
Oh, that's what I thought it was going to be too.
Yeah, it would be like their life in school. But no, it's just two kind of like separate arcs. Like almost feels like comic arcs where it's like just two full stories. Squeezed into one season. But it's cool. Some pretty big characters get introduced that you might maybe have expected to see in the movie, but instead they're like, hey, it's in the show. So if you're a Turtles fan, there's a lot of cool nods to other characters and things like that. So it's worth watching just for that. But yeah, I thought it was really fun.
Sick.
I definitely a keeper. It's a quick watch. I think it's 10 episodes total.
Yeah.
So it's not a big thing at all. And it was Paramount Plus exclusive, but then they brought it to Netflix. So.
Oh, it's on Netflix now?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize
That's where I watched it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's, I don't know. The streaming stuff's still confusing to me.
Because it originally was a streaming show, but it has commercial breaks. Like it goes to black screens to like cut for a commercial. So maybe it was going to be on Nickelodeon or they're going to put it on Nickelodeon like eventually.
I think Paramount Plus still has ads. Or has ads now or something, or they have like a tier with ads. So I think they've started making shows like that with the breaks.
Yeah, because it felt like it was ripped from TV.
Yeah,
with the black screen. Like,
all right, that's kind of cool though. I kind of like that.
Yeah, but I found every other episode besides the first one to be pretty strong. Again, all the turtles were fun where it ended up. Yeah, definitely a keeper.
All right, cool. I'm stoked because I still have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
The only other thing I was going to bring up in TV is they put Home Improvement on Netflix.
Oh, God.
And so I threw it on the other day because we were just like chilling.
Yeah. Good?
I love it. So there's nostalgia involved here for sure. But it just, I don't know, it makes me laugh. It's the comfort of watching a show I grew up watching, but also like, I don't know, just
understanding it now that you're an adult.
Yeah, there's definitely that aspect of it, and the family is so. If you guys don't know Home Improvement, '90s show starring Tim Allen, and it's just he has a show called Tool Time, and he's just a dad, and it's him and his family, and everyone in it's great. The kids are funny. The woman who plays his wife is really funny. I actually meant to look her up because I was curious if she ever was in anything else that I would have seen her in because she's really great in the show too. But it's just like the way they quip and joke with each other all the time is the way I like my household is.
Yeah. Patricia Richardson?
Patrichardson.
Does that look like her? I don't remember who anybody looks like in that show.
Dude, yep, that's her. Jill Taylor.
Jill Taylor.
She was in The West Wing. That show ruled. She was in Grey's Anatomy.
So are you watching it with like the
Blacklist?
kids or Rachel or anything? Or just
When Rach and I are like hanging out after we're done watching something like Glow or we watch a movie or something, I'll throw that on at night. And that's like the best thing about it is I'll put it on before I go to bed. It's like
something,
calm
just
and chilling at the end of the day kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you, is there any show that you grew up watching? Like, did you grow up watching any sitcoms that you could throw on now? And
for sure. Like Nick at Night would always have just the most random stuff. So George Lopez is one that I've seen.
Wow, that's funny. That's exactly the kind of show I'm talking about.
Is one that was always on at like 10 o'clock.
Yep.
And, a lot of the jokes went over my head or I didn't really get it. But that's one that I could put on now. And sometimes it even shows up randomly, like on YouTube. And it's like George Lopez for 5 hours. And I'm like, sure, I'll throw that on. Why not? So I just have it as I go to bed. But other than that, Full House is one that I could kind of like sit into. Yep. Friends, I watched like as I was older.
Yeah.
For the first time. So it's not one that I'll like put on for fun per se.
Sure.
But yeah, I would say George Lopez and Full House are like the two that pop up.
George Lopez.
I know.
See, I forgot about that show.
That show was crazy.
Yeah. That's got to be more your generation of...
I guess so.
Wait, was that on Nick at Night?
Yeah, Nick at Night.
See, that's funny.
So that must have been... I mean, I don't know how old George Lopez is, the show.
Dude, my Nick at Night was like Brady Bunch, Mary Tyler Moore, I Dream of Jeannie, like way older stuff.
Yeah, George Lopez came out in 2002 to 2007.
Wow.
So that was, and that was, I mean, those were reruns because it was on a different channel.
Sure,
of
course, yeah.
But yeah, that was George Lopez, Full House. I'm trying to think. Roseanne, I think, was part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have like the old stuff. I didn't have any of that.
I don't know. Yeah, they like moved way up later because I remember Fresh Prince was on Nick at Night. For a while.
Yeah. I forgot about Fresh Prince on there.
Yeah, Fresh Prince is great. But yeah, man, Home Improvement, I was like, oh, I wonder if this is just going to be like crazy cheeseball. And like some of it, yeah, like it's a 90s sitcom, but it's overall just like a really enjoyable watch.
Yeah.
So if you grew up with it, I recommend going and checking it out.
Are you going to try to watch it all the way through?
Yeah, it's just our like throw it on whenever show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Apologies, I have something in my eye. That's why I keep doing eye stuff.
I will never forgive you.
I got it out.
It's like our current sitcom that we'll work through. Like we did it with Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we were watching like every night. And yeah. So like the other night we watched Glow, 2 episodes of it, super intense. And then we were like, we went and got like a drink, got back in bed. I was like, I'm put on Home Improvement.
Yeah, let's just laugh.
And we chuckle.
Chuckle!
And we have a good time.
That's what you want from a show.
Keeper, dude.
Keeper.
Home Improvement's a keeper.
I don't know if I'll ever get to that one either, but
Just watch one episode.
just one episode. That's all I need to do. I do like Tim Allen. I think he's fun.
Yeah, he's fun. He's funny.
He's a funny guy.
He's Santa Claus.
Yeah. Santa Claus is okay, but
Wow.
well, speaking of things that are much better than okay,
Yeah.
I finish a show that I've been gushing over ever since I watched the Choose Your Own Adventure version of it.
Oh, yeah.
I finished Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, you love that show.
I love it so much.
Why?
It's fun. It's like it captures the essence of like what makes Tomb Raider fun by having like a hot female protagonist who's who's very much.
That's what makes Tomb Raider fun.
There's more to it. Who's very good at what she does.
It captures the essence of like a Tomb Raider or Underworld or some of X-Men or.
This man's not going to let me finish my sentence.
Carry on.
Where it's a professional who's very good at what they do.
Sure.
They go on like crazy adventures around the world, a globe-trotting adventure.
We love that.
With some sweet action.
Ooh.
Some sweet spy thriller adventures.
Wow.
That's it. It's really good.
That does sound really fun.
So it captures the essence of like Tomb Raider and like the Mummy movies. With a little bit of like Oceans, like 12, 13, those type of movies.
Really?
Ocean's 11.
Dude. That sounds awesome.
It's amazing.
Anything with heist elements, I'm in, dude.
Because every episode, so if you don't know, Carmen Sandiego was an old like 90s video game.
Yeah.
And it's about this
computer game.
A computer game. You need to go on like your old Windows computer.
Yeah.
Gross. But yeah, the game had you trying to solve a like crime or what do you call it? A burglary or something was stolen.
Yeah.
And you had to go across the world to figure it out. Everyone always thinks it's Carmen, but it's not Carmen. It's some other guy. And so the game was like that. And so they made a show in the 90s based off the game.
Yeah.
And then they, that doesn't matter for any of this because then they remade.
In the world is Carmen Sandiego? Demonetized.
Yeah, that's it. You killed the podcast. And so they decided to remake the show in 2019.
Yep.
That gives you more of an origin of Carmen Sandiego and, put a modern twist on it. And I just love it. I just love it.
Is the theme song a twist on that theme song?
No, but in the now lost adventure style one where you could choose your own path, it has a total like music video. If you get the good ending, the best ending, you unlock that as a music video.
Oh,
and it does the original song.
That's a really good incentive.
Yeah, but nobody can play it anymore because it's gone. I have it though, so if someone needs it, let me know. I recorded it.
$10.
$10. It's all yours, Brett. I was going to give it to you for free, but no, they have a new like mysterious one.
Carmen Sandiego.
Yo, the music's good. But yeah, so the show, I mean, it's generally for like a kid audience. It's more
Children.
for younger adults. No, just younger kids.
Yeah.
But it's I can't talk. It's made in such a way where it's good for the family. It's super fun to watch as an adult because there are some like twists. There's some really cool action sequences.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's surprisingly really well made for an old video game / cartoon that I think was like more campy and goofy at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a huge focus on like I can't talk at all, Brett. Huge focus on education. It's because we haven't done the podcast.
Dude,
in so
calm
long.
down.
I can't. Dude, I don't know why.
Huge focus on. I look like your tongue was gonna fall out of your mouth.
Dude, I couldn't. I'm speaking too fast. I have to
Why are you rushing? Relax.
Because we're already an hour, 37 minutes.
We're not gonna talk about everything you've watched in the past 30
Dude, we're talking about everything. This is
It's
why we can't take.
it's probably because they used to put so much emphasis on.
All right, let's move on. It's a keeper. It's a great show. It's a great show.
Tim feels
seasons.
like it was campy because they put a lot of emphasis on education.
Thank you.
But now the show only puts an emphasis on how attractive Carmen Sandiego is.
Yeah, that's a part to it. But yeah, all the characters are fun. They have a cool cast of villains. Like you get a new villain of the week.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, they change it up. The first season, there's only a couple, so you see them multiple times. But
you were talking so.
I really was. I don't know why.
I didn't notice it until you crashed into that wall of the word education.
Dude, I was flying through.
I'm sure it wasn't as fast as I'm hearing in my head right now.
Dude, I need water. I need water.
Right now, I'm thinking back. And it feels like
I don't know what happened. I think I'm so excited to talk on the podcast. And then I got in my own head, and I'm just really liking Carmen Sandiego.
It's like, I don't know. It makes me think of like two kids like racing those remote control cars like on a track, but one of the cars becomes like sentient, and it's like, I can go as fast as I want. It just
keeps going nonstop.
Couldn't stop. It was out of control. And then it ran into a sign that said education. And it was like,
I can't read. Education.
I can't read.
Oh.
It is, I will say this about Carmen Sandiego. It seems like a weird franchise that has held on for this long.
They just had a game come out. A new game. It's free on Netflix if you have it, but it's $30 elsewhere on consoles.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Did you try it?
Yeah.
Is it good?
We're not in games, Brett.
Oh.
I can't tell you that.
Speaking of not being in games, can we go to games?
Yeah, go watch Carmen Sandiego. I'm sad that episode doesn't exist anymore, but that one that they removed. But.
Right. There was if you didn't see our episode about Tim watching 150 interactive Netflix specials.
So many.
They got rid of a bunch.
Yeah.
And one of them was a Carmen Sandiego one.
Which is the whole reason why I watched the show in the first place.
So it was good marketing and they canned it.
They canned it. But yeah, go watch it. It doesn't matter if you have kids. Go watch it. Keeper. Let's move on, Brett. Where are we going?
Games.
Video games.
Who's talking first?
I don't want to talk anymore.
You might need
Brett.
a break.
I need a break.
You need an oil change.
Yeah, let's hear what you've been playing.
Okay. All right, so listen. Some of you may know, and if you don't, it's not important at all because I'm about to say it. I recently played Spider-Man 2 on PS5. Unbelievable game, one of the best games I've ever played. Don't worry, I'm not recapping it. I'm bringing it up for the sake of saying that starting a new game after playing a game like Spider-Man 2 is terrifying because how can anything even come close to how good that game was?
Nothing.
So I feel like often my strategy would be like play something completely different. Not like nothing open worldy, nothing like something a little bit more straightforward, maybe a side scroller.
I'll dip into an indie game.
An indie game. I actually kind of did. I played Dead Cells for a little bit.
Yep.
I forget if I mentioned that in the last episode.
I don't think so.
Probably not because all we talked about was sandwiches. But I played that for a little bit. Really cool game. Got the gist of like how it works, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll come back to this here and there. But I really wanted to start another story-based game. I guess I could explain to you why. But oddly, I started a game called Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor.
Oh. So completely the opposite of what you just listed, for sure.
Yeah, because it's the opposite of what?
No, it was sarcasm. You said you wanted to play a game that like wasn't open world.
Right.
It was a joke. It was a bad joke. I'm sorry. I crashed out, Brett.
No, it wasn't that. I just wasn't sure if it was It was such good sarcasm that I was like, is it opposite or not?
What did I say?
What is the point of my story? You made me totally second guess. No, so I wasn't really sure what I was getting into. I'd heard it was like open world. I am not well versed in Lord of the Rings. Feels embarrassing to say, and I'm sorry, and don't be mad.
I tried, guys.
I'm about to be.
Yeah?
Because...
Let me know. I'll rewatch those movies every day.
Really?
They're so good.
Because I'm going to rewatch them soon.
I got the extended cuts.
Those are what I want to watch because I've definitely never seen those. So... I realized I have a bunch of physical games that I've never played through, and one of them is Shadow of Mordor, which I believe you got me for a birthday or Christmas, like...
Which is weird.
Many years ago.
You must have been trying to get into Lord of the Rings at the time, and I thought it would be a good catalyst, because I can't imagine...
Well, I think I got a PS4, and you bought me, like, just a bunch of PS4 games that were cool.
I guess. I don't know. I don't feel like I'd pick that one because I know you don't.
Was it one that you had on your list and Mom got and wrapped for me?
No, I don't know.
Because that's happened multiple times.
That has happened multiple times. I don't think so.
I don't know, but I know I don't think I ever went out and bought it. I'm pretty sure you got it for me.
Are you sure you didn't get it like from like Bull Moose or something?
I'm not sure of anything anymore, Tim.
Okay.
But regardless, I've had this game on my shelf forever.
Yeah.
And Shadow of War, the sequel, is currently on Game Pass. And I was like, you know what? I've had this on my shelf. I'm going to just like pop it in and see how it is. I cannot believe how good this game is. And it's 11 years old. This game came out in 2014. And it's maybe a hard comparison, but I think it does do what Spider-Man does, which is that it puts you into an open world that really captures what the franchise is. And this is how you do this. It's why Spider-Man works so well. You have to be able to swing around New York like anywhere you want to. You have to be able to go to the highest point in the city and jump off a building. You have to be able to randomly come across like crimes. Like all these things are like, oh yeah, that is what it is to be Spider-Man. This is why the Arkham games work. Same thing. You need to be able to sneak through the shadows. You need to be able to drop off a building onto a random crime. Like this is why this works. They did the same thing in this game. And even not being like super deep into the Lord of the Rings lore, it's set up so quickly that you're like, okay, I understand my character. I'm in this land where I am conjoined. I'm like somewhere between dead and alive, and I have this wraith attached to me, which allows me to have these powers that just it just gets cooler and cooler. And you're just running around. There's these random like hordes of Uruks that you have to kill, and you're working your way through the ranks of this like orc race and trying to get to the highest war chiefs, and it rules.
Yeah.
What's so cool about this game is it has the learning curve. This is how it felt to me. It has the learning curve of like a new board game where there are these little strategies, and it's not like super, super deep because I feel like once you get into it, some of it almost feels like it doesn't make that much of a difference, but essentially the way that you can level up in this game is there are these various sort of side missions where these like war chiefs and different like Uruk leaders are trying to fight each other to rank up. And you can go and like interrupt those fights and either kill them both or kill the strongest one. And whoever lives, they'll like rank up and they'll level up. So there's a little bit of strategy where after every time you kill one of these main bosses, you can look at the battle report and it'll show you every ranked captain that either moved up to war chief or moved up in rank, and they're all leveling up. So there's this cool feeling that is what I like about sitting down with a new bird game. Bird game?
Wow. Cheap bird game. But it's funny when you explain it that way, it almost sounds like really tactical and strategic and, like you said, a board game. But the game is just like a hack and slash, like open world murder fest.
Yeah, really, the only strategy is you're like choosing which captains to go after.
Yeah.
And as you level up, it just makes you more I know this is going to sound obvious, but it just increases your survival skills. So like there are little things like it now you can I don't know if you can always ride those giant Karagor things or whatever they're called. But you just get little skills that help you traverse a little bit faster and the landscape really doesn't change that much. The map's pretty big, but it's nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But it also has these elements of different games that, like Assassin's Creed, where in this game you can basically just jump off of anything and it's impossible for you to really get injured. There's always something to grab, or if you're too high, the Wraith takes over and you just basically land as a ghost. And the game is never not fun. Like there's always, even when you're just running from place to place, there's some kind of battle that you get entangled in. And there are a couple side missions that I don't care. I haven't cared for a ton. They're just a little bit tedious, but they're very few and far between. I have, I think, a little over 17 hours into the game, and it says I'm 30% done.
Wild.
And I've realized, I think it's because I've barely touched the primary missions because the side missions are so fun.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing that Spider-Man accomplished, where the side missions don't feel like tedium. You're like, these are all fun, so I'll just do them along the way.
Right.
And now I'll go to do a main mission, and it takes me no time because I'm so heavily leveled up.
Strong. Yep.
It's so good. And yeah, it's just, it's so different than Spider-Man, but playing them back to back, I'm like, oh, all you have to do is get me in the world and be like, okay, yeah, I'm a sword-wielding, bow-wielding warrior. I hate these creatures that are trying to destroy me, and I have all this vengeance, and like, it's just, you're in it.
Yeah.
And I will say, too, the opening sequence and the setup for the story is really dark and really heavy. And the game is so violent, and I think you had told me that it was, but I had no idea how violent.
Like Lord of the Rings can get pretty violent and intense, but yeah, it's quite the stark contrast from the movies.
Yeah.
Because it is like, I mean, you're I can't talk today. You're decapitating all types of creatures. You are doing things that you just don't really see too much in the movies. Granted, there is a lot of violence in that too, but it is a wild difference. So like if you go to see the movies now, you'll be like, oh, well, I don't think you'll be disappointed because they're amazing, but it's just funny like how intense that one is compared to the main story. Because like, it's totally a side story. It has nothing to do, to a degree, to the main Lord of the Rings plot. But.
Yeah, I definitely, like, there's a Gollum story, and so it's like having some prior knowledge is like, okay, at least I know some backstory here, but the majority of it, I feel kind of blind, and I wasn't actually sure if it played into anything in previous lore. The creatures are so cool. Yeah. Like, that's one of the big things, too, is like, I'm a creature design guy, and these are like, I have a funny relationship with fantasy stuff because some of the types of creatures that you typically see in fantasy, I think, are just kind of goofy, and I'm like, man, whatever. But when we get into the kind of monsters we're seeing in this game, I'm like, this is what I'm here for. This is so dope. And just as an example of the focus on violence in this, there's a stealth kill. Also, great stealth in this game. I love stealth, especially when you can bring death from above. That's the best. As soon as you unlock that, because you're playing it for a while, and there's some things you're like, I wish I could do this.
Yeah, it's like, why can't I kill this guy in this way?
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, wait. wait,
Hold
I can
on.
do this. So
Did you get the arrow one yet?
the like shadow attack or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Where you teleport with
unlocked-
it. Oh,
Dude, it's so sick.
game
So
changer.
it starts where you can stealth kill, but you're just using your like regular attack button, and then you unlock something called brutalize, which is essentially a stealth kill, but instead you like grab them from the back, stab them in the back 7 times, and then cut their head off. And then it scares all of the other enemies and they run away. And what Tim is referencing now is you unlock another thing where you use the Wraith to essentially teleport from one place to another and stealth kill them that way. And it's just like the gameplay just gets progressively more and more fun. And with the strategy elements, which you're completely right, when you're learning it, it feels like, oh, okay, I'm like learning this strategy. But realistically, it's not that deep. There are a lot of layers. You can upgrade your character. You get runes for your daggers, your bow, and your sword, so you can add upgrades to those individually. And then you're unlocking different abilities throughout the game too. So there's a lot to unlock, a lot of incentive for side missions. And I'm just super stoked on it. I can't believe how much fun it is, especially being as old as it is and just coming off the tail of one of the best games I've ever played. Heavy Keeper, Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor. I'm hoping Shadow of War is at least just as fun as this one. Have you played it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And should I play it?
Definitely.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I don't know where it is now. There is like a portion of that game that is miserable, but I think they have since fixed it since I played.
Okay, good to know.
Speaking of this game,
Yeah.
the developer, Monolith Studios,
Yeah.
are very well known for making things like Fear, Condemned.
Oh, they made Fear. Oh, they made Condemned.
They are one of the best studios that I've seen in recent years. They were recently working on for 7 years the Wonder Woman game. There was a new Wonder Woman game. Yesterday,
Oh, no.
WB closed them down.
Why?
Closed down the whole studio.
Why? The whole studio?
Yep. So if you were hoping for another or Shadow of War type game, hoping for another Condemned, another Fear, the Wonder Woman game, canceled.
Dude, is that the trailer we saw like years ago?
That I think initially Rocksteady was attached to. Yeah, WB just closed them down, which sucks so much that they own them because Monolith was so good. But yeah, they've been working on Wonder Woman for 7 years.
And they were still like actively working on it?
Yeah, to my knowledge.
Bro,
So they canceled the game, closed down the studio. I think they closed down a couple other studios too, but that was the big one.
Dude.
Yeah, they've been around for 30 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's devastating.
It's so depressing because, Condemned, dude, how good was Condemned?
It's still a class. It's on. I see people, dude. YouTube videos go up weekly mentioning Condemned, literally
Condemned,
being like
Fear.
top 10 horror games you must play. It's like that, bro. That's so sad.
So
I feel
sad.
terrible for them.
I don't know. I really can't think of a reason behind it other than WB just being awful. I mean, we've seen the shelved Coyote movie. We've seen all these cartoons get removed from HBO Max, which was the only place you could see it. They've just been doing horrible
Dude.
artistic decisions.
This might be strange to some people, but that feels like Silent Hills level disappointing to me.
Yep.
Because I would love a Wonder Woman game, especially now. I mean, I'm playing a game 11 years old.
Yep.
That feels like fresh and incredible. To get I'm pissed.
Yeah,
That
just
sucks.
just thinking about their history, and there's probably games I'm missing too. I mean, they've been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
So a little unfortunate side of you playing those games now. Granted, the Shadow of War series, like the second one, is definitely a good place where it could end. There definitely could be more, but it was pretty sad to hear because I loved them. I thought they were so good.
That is so rough.
And it is weird to hear when like game studios close. Like Telltale was one that was pretty sad to hear.
Did they come back?
Yeah, they're like kind of back, but not. And sometimes what happens too, and we hope it's the case with this, is that these people will get absorbed by another studio,
Totally.
or make their own new studio and make like indie projects. So there's so many possibilities, but it does suck when
Out
it
of
happens.
the ashes, a phoenix rises.
Oh, maybe that'll be their new group, Monolith Phoenix House.
Phoenix House.
I don't know.
It's
That was
kind of
my
cool
guess.
to call it Phoenix House.
I know, right?
So it sounds like you hit the main ones. I don't know what's Blood.
I don't know. Best known for Blood.
3D first-person shooter video game developed by Monolith.
That must be old.
MS-DOS.
Wow. 1997 though, so it might have been 3D, right? Oh yeah, it said 3D.
It literally starts with 3.
Shut up.
No One Lives Forever.
Ooh.
I don't know what that is. The Operative. No One Lives Forever. Fear. Shogo. Mobile Armor.
They don't
Division.
even list Condemned here.
No, I
Messed
guess not.
up.
Oh yeah, here's a whole.
Oh, there it is.
Blood. Claw.
Aliens versus Predator 2.
What?
I don't know.
Grunts. Blood 2. The Chosen.
Ooh.
Tron 2.0. Contract Jack.
The Matrix Online.
What is that?
I don't know.
All right, so yeah, you hit the main. Oh, it's so
right
sad
there.
to see cancel. It says Wonder Woman cancel.
That game, I mean, we saw, well, I think we're going to start seeing some like leaked footage and stuff. Because, I mean, if they were working on it for 7 years, it must have been pretty far along. Unless they had like a restructuring halfway through or whatever. But,
Dude, can you imagine putting the kind of work that it takes to work on a game into a game for that long, only to be like, no, we have to cancel it?
I always wonder what the money flow's like. Like, does the company, the parent company, just keep spending money? Because you're not making money until the game comes out.
Right.
There are some studios that will like split their team and make one big game and then make a bunch of like cannon fodder stuff.
Yeah.
So they can pay the bills until the big one comes out.
Yeah.
But then, like, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know how money gets distributed because, like, if you're making the game, you have to be paid. You
Yeah.
can't just make a game for 7 years and not make money that whole time.
Right.
So I mean, obviously, there's a method, but.
Yeah, it's got it. Yeah, that's a good question.
But yeah, all that wasted time and money and like, especially like imagine working on a project for 7 years.
That's what I mean.
Like it's like making a movie or something.
Yeah, and then it just gets canned.
Canceled. Yep.
Oh, that's a lot
Sucks.
to deal with, man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yep. So a little downer, but at least you still have some of their other games to play. The Fear series, because have you played any of those?
No, I own a couple of them.
Yeah, those are really good. And yeah, Condemned 2 if you haven't played that. And
I haven't. I also own that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some good ones to play through. But if you haven't heard of them
Sad.
before, I mean, go play their games. A lot of them are going on sale right now because of the closure. Fear was actually just on sale last week, the whole series on Steam for $5.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was just the first 3 games, and then there was DLC for the first one, I think.
Oh, that's the other thing. There's DLC for Shadow of Mordor, and they're still full price. They're like $10 each.
Mm-hmm.
One of them sounded like it might be worth getting story-wise.
Yeah.
But
I don't think I ever played the DLC for those.
dang, dude.
Dang, Daniel.
Wow. Language.
Sorry, I didn't mean to swear.
You got other stuff or what?
No, I'm not talking anymore.
You're done?
Dude.
You're calling it?
Dude, I tried to talk while you were talking about it, and I couldn't say anything. So.
What are you talking about?
No, I mean, like, I tried to speak words, and I messed up again.
I mean, you messed up one word.
I messed up like 8 times.
I mean,
Sometimes you just have a bad speaking time.
sometimes you just have a bad speaking time.
Plus, we did 3 videos before this. That's where all my energy went. Okay,
That's fair.
guys?
That's fair.
That's where it all went.
We got one more to do.
Yeah, whatever.
All right, this has been episode number 309 of the Keep Up Podcast. You guys are the coolest. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Before we go, Tim, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and your other work?
You guys can find me at Collection Revolution all over the place. That's YouTube, that's Twitch, that's Instagram, that's Threads, that's Blue Sky, that's Twitter, that's TikTok.
Yeah.
There's so many platforms.
There's a lot.
And am I on all of them? Who knows? But I'm somewhere.
Yeah, he
Somewhere
is.
in the shadows.
That's true.
Brett, where can everyone find you and your awkward smelling turtles?
Wow.
Yeah.
We've switched to pets I don't have. Fantastic. You guys can follow me on Instagram at this drink I like it. There is a what happened? There's a link tree there that will get you to some of my other work. I've admittedly been off social still for like a pretty long time.
And that's why you can talk fine.
And I would say, yeah, my brain is healing. Tim's is melting. So I would ask, honestly, that you find us at the Keep Up Podcast on YouTube. And you can find us on Instagram and TikTok. We've been less active over there, but you'll probably see some new shorts popping up over there and everything. But 100% one of the best things you can do to support the show right now is pop over to YouTube and just find a video. If you dig it, drop a comment, a like, subscribe over there if you haven't. Much appreciated. And even if you're just listening or watching and you don't do any of those things, we still appreciate you. And we're stoked that you're here and you're the coolest and we love you. Tim's going to do what's called End Babble. We'll see if he gets through it. Tim, your theme is Launchpad McDuck. Swimming in mac and cheese to find the gold of ages.
Okay.
I don't know what that means. Okay, love you. See you guys later. Bye.
Is it Launchpad McQuack?
Yeah.
Okay. The river of cheese flows like a vein full of blood. And Launchpad McDuck chose today to be the day that he glides along the river of cheese. He swims at first, as a duck does. He swims with his weird little duck feathered arms. But because he's actually human-shaped, he can't do that. So instead, as he sinks in the cheese, he calls upon his friend, Go Gadget Betty, to reach her claws into the golden abyss and pull him out.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I think it might be a stroke. And he drowns because I don't want to talk anymore.
It can be over. So he'll leave you with this.
I'll leave you with this. Don't talk anymore. We're in a world where words don't mean anything. Actions speak louder than words. Thank you.
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. Very cool. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and to the Keep Up podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can also find us at patreon.com/thekeepup, where you can support us monthly for as little as $1 per month, and you can get yourself some cool Keep Up merch in our Etsy shop. Links are down below.
Ready to get started?
On what?
We're doing the bumpers, aren't we?
Yes, we're doing the bumpers. Do you have, you got the remote?
Of course.
Just hit record and we'll ready to go.
All right.